Hi, my name is Betsy and I am a fourth grader at Madrona. I have a few things to say about taking away our instrumental program and not letting us do it until sixth grade. I know lots of people who want to keep our band and orchestra program, and I think it's unfair that the third graders this year don't get instruments until they're in sixth grade. I know a lot of kids who are really in third grade who are really interested into doing instruments, and lots of other kids, like the fourth graders this year, wanting to keep instruments, and not having to wait till like an extra year. We have a petition of 200 signatures to prove that lots of kids care about keeping band and orchestra, and they really enjoy it. If you want to pass it around or something. I have one idea. Maybe we could, I don't know if it would work. Maybe we could mix fifth grade, the next year, the fifth grade instruments with the sixth graders because they're moving sixth grade to middle school. That's all I really have to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We particularly appreciate hearing from students. So we love that you are thinking about ideas that people might be able to use to help address some of the challenges that we have. Okay?
Once we're done passing around, make sure I get back to you.
Good. Thank you. Next up is Carolyn Bernatek.
Hello everyone, my name is Caroline Bernatek and I'm an 8th grader at Madrona K. I've been playing in band since 4th grade, and I'm currently an alto sax player in our Jazz 1 and in addition an oboe and flute player in our concert band. And next year I'll be a freshman at Edmonds Woodway. Go Warriors. And as a student deeply invested in the well-being of our school community, I come before you today to talk about the importance of preserving and prioritizing our music education in our curriculum. Music isn't just another class for my peers and I. It's a vital part of our identity, our growth, and our shared experiences. I'd like you to think about the first time you heard your favorite song or the concert that gave you the chills. Those moments are etched in our memories forever, shaping who we are and how we connect with the world around us. Music isn't just something we learn, it's something we live and breathe every day. It shows us that not everything needs to be perfect, and that if you try hard enough, almost anything is possible. But beyond the personal joy and fulfillment that music brings, it plays a much larger role in our lives. It's a source of comfort during tough times, a beacon of hope when we feel lost, and a catalyst for people bringing together. Music has a way of transcending differences and uniting us in ways that words alone cannot. Yet, despite its undeniable importance, music education faces an uncertain future in our schools. Budget cuts and competing priorities threaten to silence the very voices that have shaped us and enriched our lives. I urge you to consider the faces of our students whose lives have been transformed by music. Quiet ones who find their voice on stage, the struggling ones who find comfort in music, the perfectionists, that's me, who learn to step outside their comfort zone, and the dreamers who see a brighter future through their musical talents. Their stories show the power of music to inspire, empower, and uplift us all. In closing, I ask you to listen to the voices of the students who are counting on you. Let us be the generation that ensures every child has the opportunity to experience the magic of music education. Thank you for your time, your consideration, and your dedication to our collective future.
Thank you, Carolyn. Next up is Corey Clark.
Hello, everybody. My name is Corey Clark. I'm from Edmonds. I live here in Edmonds. I'm a school psychologist. I'm here to discuss the budget cuts for the deaf and hard of hearing program. As an employee of the district, as a psychologist for many, many years, I have many concerns regarding the cuts in the deaf and hard of hearing program. I think the board is making a vital error in their judgment to do such a thing. It's a low incidence disability, a deaf and hard of hearing, and it is a direct conflict with the mission and the goals of our district. I understand we have budgetary concerns. I also understand that we are a regional program for deaf and hard of hearing, and we have contracts with other districts other than just our own, where deaf and hard of hearing students are sent from other districts to our district. Altogether, about $3 million is brought into our district from having this collaboration with other districts in the region. That's $3 million that we bring in the deaf and hard of hearing program. I don't see any reason why that money should be cut from our program, from the deaf and hard of hearing program, since we are a revenue generator for the district. Also, the deaf and hard of hearing program, people who are responsible and advocating for coordinating interpreter services, et cetera, is a lot of work. It is very difficult to explain to you how much work that is. It is not a simple job to coordinate deaf and hard of hearing accommodations, accessibility, et cetera, and deaf education. Other school districts, I've seen them try and have a leader who's not deaf and hard of hearing, who doesn't have a background in deaf and hard of hearing education. I've seen what happens. I've seen stakeholders, I've seen families get extremely angry, and I've seen the damage that can happen to a district when they cut funding for deaf and hard of hearing services. I guarantee that if we lose our deaf and hard of hearing principal, basically, who is RJ, Richard Jeffries, there's no one in the special education department here who is qualified to run this program. No one except for Richard Jeffries. You have to have a deaf leader, somebody who has a background in deaf education. My point here this evening is that I want to caution you now. There will be serious consequences if you cut that position and you cut funding for the deaf and hard of hearing program. The community is watching. Everyone knows what you're doing. The good news is you have time to course correct. We have a qualified program leader now in place. Let's not lose him. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Paige Nguyen.
Hello, my name is Paige Nguyen. I'm a deaf and hard of hearing teacher at Madrona. I address you today with a sense of urgency and concern. For the first time in over 40 years, the position of the DHH program manager has been eliminated. This decision warrants a closer look. It will profoundly impact our students, educators, and our community. The ongoing training and support offered by the DHH program manager are essential for the coordination of our teachers, paras, and interpreters to ensure they have the skills and knowledge necessary to work effectively with DHH students. DHH students are required IEPs to thrive academically. The DHH program manager oversees and develops the implementation of these IEPs. The absence of the DHH program manager endangers the academic success of our students. The DHH program manager advocates for resources and support services within the school and the broader community. This includes ensuring that students have access to interpreters, assistive technology, and necessary accommodations. The DHH program manager acts as a vital link to the broader deaf community, local organizations, and relevant stakeholders. This enables students access to invaluable resources, connections, and opportunities through internships, mentorships, and cultural events. Students benefit from an enriched educational experience and develop a profound sense of belonging. The Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, IDEA, requires students to offer services and accommodations outlined in students' IEPs. If isn't effectively accomplished, the student's parents or guardians could turn to legal action to ensure that their students' rights to education and resources are provided. In closing, I urge you to reconsider the elimination of the DHH program manager. The consequences are far-reaching and profound. A knowledgeable leader, particularly one deeply entrenched in the deaf community and fluent in ASL, American Sign Language, is not a luxury, but a necessity. Together, let us ensure that our educational environment remains supportive, inclusive, and unwavering.
Next up is Kayla Meese.
Hello, my name is Kayla Meese. I'm a teacher at Edmonds Woodway High School. I have been a teacher for 12 years now, 3 years here in this district. I have worked in many deaf residential schools before I came here to teach. I myself am a product of mainstreaming, a regional program. I went to a regional program, not in the state of Washington, in a different state. That program is now gone. It doesn't exist anymore because people on the school board decided they wanted to send our students to be alone in schools instead of bringing them together. They didn't have access to language. They didn't have access to sign when they became mainstreamed alone. That can happen here. I want to warn everyone. I can tell you from personal experience, it can happen here. It impacts your mental health to be the only signing individual in an entire school. We need this regional program. We need a deaf and hard of hearing program manager who understands the deaf community. Because in all candor, I am tired of advocating for myself as a deaf person and for my deaf son. He goes to Madrona, K through 8. So I am very upset, naturally, that you would even consider cutting this program manager position, who's deaf himself, who knows our students, who knows our staff, who knows what it's like to be deaf. To cut that program, to have a hearing person step into that program who doesn't know who we are, who doesn't know anything about deaf education. We are tired of advocating for ourselves and having to explain it over and over again. I have already had to deal with counselors being taken away from us. Many of our high school students, deaf and hard of hearing, they're like, who do I talk to if I have problems? Who can sign? Where's my signing counselor? They used to be here. We took it away. Now you're going to take away the program manager. That is not acceptable. That is not acceptable to me. That is not acceptable to the community. We're talking about our future. Me as a parent and me as a teacher, both hats on my head. I want the school board to understand that if residential schools have many resources, it makes me so crazy and so jealous that they have all this money, all these resources at the residential schools. Why don't we have that here? I want the same opportunities for my son he would have at a residential school. I want him to have access to a school counselor. I want him to have mentors. I want him to play in sports. I want him to join clubs. I want him to have access to everything everyone else has access to. What if we cut these all? I'm tired of this. Please rethink your budget cuts. Don't cut the deaf and hard of hearing program. We deserve better.
Next up is Jennifer Luce.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jennifer Luce. I am concerned about the DHH program as well, about the program manager cut and the future of the DHH program. I've worked with the Edmonds School District as staff for over 25 years. I am also a mother of 3 deaf children, and I would like them to be able to go to Edmonds Woodway. I also live in Edmonds. I forgot to mention, I am a resident here. I first worked as a substitute teacher for the DHH program many years ago, 25 years ago. And then I moved into the DHH counselor role as when that school counseling position opened up so many years ago. So I've been in that position until now. And I work with the general ed population as well at Madrona K through 8. A little bit about my background. So I grew up in the Seattle Public Schools. I graduated, I was in a mainstream program. I had interpreters using sign language. I graduated and I kept hearing about the denigration of this program due to the changes in the management. From a sign language using manager to a non-signing director or manager who didn't know deaf education. And then to not having a manager at all, and then they again hired a signing manager. So it's gone back and forth in the administration, and it's vital that we have someone who understands the deaf culture, deaf linguistics, and deaf education. So if you want to think about equity, equity means that you would have a loss of structure here, removing this position. The program could eventually go away, eliminating diversity that makes Edmonds school district stronger, a stronger option for many families, specifically children who are deaf or hard of hearing. Many populations are served by this program. So if we go, who's next? As a mom, again, of 3 deaf children, and I'd like them to go to Edmonds Woodway, I see so many benefits of this program that is provided by the district. We value it and we want it to stay strong. The leadership has a long history in the Edmonds School District of committing to IEPs and 504 in the DHH classrooms through direct language educators, direct access with paras. And those people become leaders in our community and in our schools. The students, the families, the professionals have strong leadership. And without that leadership, the program could cease to exist. So we need a strong structure and without just moving people, shifting people around.
So
Rising people up to...
We need to
rise people
let her know that
okay,
it's time.
I'm at time. Okay. In summary, the point is that we want to maintain our program and the program director to grow our program with robust K through high school program. Now we have that, and we want to grow that and grow those leaders.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next up is Joanne Clearbrook. Joanna.
Hello, everybody. My name is Joanna Clearbrook. I work in the Edmonds School District for, I think, 13 years now. I used to sub, and then I became a para, and I love working with the deaf kids. I grew up in Seattle Public Schools, just like Jennifer Luce did. We had a very similar experience. We were both mainstreamed, using interpreters in the classroom, with a strong deaf and hard of hearing program. And I graduated from there. My husband is deaf as well. He grew up in Edmonds. He grew up here. He went to the Edmonds School District. We have 3 deaf children. They went to Madrona. They graduated. They went to Edmonds Woodway. It was a fantastic experience. We are so thankful to this deaf and hard of hearing program. Our children are successful because of this deaf and hard of hearing program. It is very important to them, as it is to me. Deaf and hard of hearing program has been going for 40, 50 years. We've had a deaf and hard of hearing manager, program manager for 40, 50 years. If we don't have that position, what problems will we face in the future? If we have somebody who doesn't understand deaf culture, doesn't understand deaf education, doesn't understand sign language, et cetera, doesn't understand IEPs, doesn't understand S504s, what's going to happen? What's going to happen to our educational development? It's going to degrade. Our program manager currently, he's our tree, if you look at my metaphor, with big branches that reach out to everywhere, right? The paras are under that tree. The interpreters are under that tree. Deaf education is under that tree. That is a big tree. You want to cut that tree down. If we lose that tree in this forest, what's going to happen? The roots are not going to hold the soil together. Do you get my drift? We're all being held together by this tree. We need to work together on this, people. Students are counting on us. We need our program manager in place. Try and envision what it would look like if we lose our deaf and hard of hearing regional program, which we will without this position in place. Where are those students going to go? Where are they going to go? What's their future education going to look like? What are generations after this going to look like? Right? We're thinking about their employment. What are we thinking about their college education? We're thinking about their future. We have their future now in place. Let's not wreck it. If we have, we have somebody who comes in who doesn't know sign, who doesn't know, we now have a deaf and hard of hearing manager who can sign fluently. Things are great. They can direct language communication with the students, with the staff, with the faculty, with everybody, right? We have a small community. This is important. Know that 90% of children that are deaf and hard of hearing come from families that are hearing and know zero sign. We are their language acquisition place, here. They don't learn their language at home. They learn it here. We have to preserve our program as it stands. Thank you all. Please reconsider your decision. Please maintain the deaf and hard of hearing program manager position. Don't let it disappear. Don't cut down the big tree. Thank you.
Next up is Jude Martine.
Hi, my name is Jude Martin. I just would like to say that I think Madrona is a very special place, and now that you guys are like moving fifth graders up into middle school, I'm losing a lot of my friends, but on the plus side, I get an extra year with them, and it's sad, but also nice. And now to get to the point, I'm kind of like really sad about how you guys are taking away fifth grade music. I feel like, what if some people want to be musicians when they get older? Like, they should have a good experience when they were like younger and like learning notes and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm done.
Okay. Thank you. Next up is Maura Doe.
Good evening, directors. My name is Maura Doe, and I'm a parent of a 4th and 6th grader at Madrona K-8 who are thriving as a result of our music program and violins in their lives. I've been here before, unfortunately, supporting our schools through proposed education, teacher, and music cuts in years past. And let's not forget the fun times that we had during Madrona's dispute with the water district. But ultimately, what I'm here to say is that I'm asking you to fully fund and commit to our Madrona K-8 school, and to fully support our highly valued DHH program embedded in our community. Cuts like the loss of one middle school teacher impacts our community disproportionately and harms our school model's ability to continue in a healthy and equitable manner, including essential education in music, art, technology, government, and other electives. I want to commend our teachers, our staff, and our principal at Madrona for approaching this dramatic impact by facing the issue with a creative and thoughtful approach that seeks to minimize impact on our children. But let's call it what it is. It is a Band-Aid. It's forced them to respond reactively to ensure survival and did not allow for a thoughtful and measured decision that our children, and especially our teachers who support them, very much deserve. And the question is, will we be facing this again and again and again in the future with no buffers now to pull from? I encourage the board and district administration to continue to support the stability for our teachers, for our students, and to ensure approach to education is relevant to that of their needs. We know we're a unique system. We know there's needs and budget challenges across the district. We are a shining example of what works, and the community is successful as a result of the diversity that we have within our school. We as a school community are also prepared to stand with you in your efforts to ensure and seek state funding and offer our support as advocates to improve financial resources here in the district. Please lean on us. We are here and available. We just need a little bit of help and direction to be able to unify as a community behind the Edmonds School District. But until then, I'm gonna ask you to please support our school, please support our DHH community, and please support our elementary school programs. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Charlotte Green.
Charlotte Green, and I am a student at Madrona. And I'm here to tell you why you can't cut 5th grade band and orchestra. Number one, we have friends, and friends are very important to us. And number two, we have fun. Number three, it's a great way to practice patience and responsibility. Number four, we challenge ourselves in a great way. And finally, our band instructor, Mr. Edwards, would be so sad. Band means so much to me and the other students. School would be no fun if there was no band. I know I'm not the only one who feels this way.
Thank you, Charlotte. Next up is Russell Green.
Hello, my name is Russell, and I am a student at Madrona. I would like to talk about how 5th grade band has impacted my entire school year very much. During 5th grade, it started me all out. It was amazing. I made new friends, playing instruments, having a good time, and especially my band director was such an amazing teacher to me. It would be such a disappointment if that would be cut for the upcoming 4th graders to have to miss that experience for our amazing program. And I would also like to say, as me being a part of the DHH community, that losing the director of the DHH community would be a big problem for us, and especially having someone that doesn't know what the problems to have are and the problems that could happen in the future with someone not knowing American Sign Language or not experiencing what it's like. Thank you.
Thank you, Russell. Next up is Jeanette Green.
First of all, I just want to say I'm a very proud mom of both of my kids coming up here to speak before you. Normally, I'm the one who's coming up to speak about music education and the importance of the district, but today I'm putting a different hat on. I understand the district is facing another significant budget cut this year. I'm the parent of 2 amazing students in Madrona K-8, and I'm very concerned about the upcoming cuts having an inequitable impact on both the K-8 model and the DHH programs in the district. My daughter Charlotte, who you heard from, is in 4th grade, and my son Russell, who is hard of hearing, is in 6th grade. Madrona's middle school, as you know, is smaller than other middle schools in the district, and therefore has less flexibility in offering core and elective classes with lower staff numbers. I'm very concerned if Madrona has to cut all of its electives due to the 2024 budget reductions. Our middle school students will have no choice but to leave to go to another middle school where they will access tech, media, music, and art curriculum. This puts Madrona at a distinct disadvantage, risking future lower enrollment. And I know the numbers are based off enrollment and future school funding. The K-8 model is unique and something to be valued. It offers a caring and safe environment for students K through 8. It's exceptionally welcoming and inclusive for middle school students with a variety of physical, social, emotional, and instructional needs who may not thrive in a traditional middle school setting. Madrona needs to be sufficiently funded to allow it to maintain a middle school curriculum that is on par with the other fabulous middle schools in our district. Furthermore, the loss of art and other electives than music will disproportionately impact our DHH programs at Madrona. Madrona is the magnet school for DHH students in the district, K through 8. If music remains an elective, but other electives are cut due to funding shortages, the DHH students would be disadvantaged. This is not the equity that Madrona nor our school district purports to back. My 2 students have both thrived in the K-8 environment. They enjoy having friends in multiple grades and have been able to engage with materials beyond their current grade level due to the multi-age classroom setting. They look up to middle school students as role models. As a kindergartner, my daughter Charlotte was able to participate in classroom musical theater directed by an 8th grader named Kike, who gave up his time to come and teach the kindergartners how to do musicals. It was fabulous and phenomenal and of his own time. My children have repeatedly observed 7th and 8th graders pursued by younger students and taking the time to interact with them rather than to ignore or snub them. They'll hopefully emulate this model of kindness and inclusion when they join our middle school next year, which Russell will do. Last year, a problem-solving line was given to help Madrona support its K-8 model, and I ask you to do it again. And again, please, I beg you, do not cut the DHH manager at the school district. Thank you.
Next up is Brenna Crane.
Hello, my name is Brenna Crane, and I am a 5th grade student at Madrona K-8. I am here today to talk about how Edmonds schools are being underfunded. At smaller schools, this particularly impacts kindergarten through 8th grade programs. For example, my school is a K-8 school, and with the cuts, 2 of our middle school electives were going to be canceled. This threatens shutting down our program because it is already a small school with very few electives for middle school. If 2 more of our electives got cut, then there would be very few electives to choose from. Parents would stop bringing their middle schoolers to Madrona, which endangers the K-8 model. Together with the school board, our school had to make the hard decision to turn 6th graders into middle schoolers. This will save our electives and program for now. With our school being threatened with the budget cuts, we had to change from a 7th and 8th grade middle school program to a 6, 7, 8 middle school program very quickly. I know that the school district was planning on using this system quite soon, but there would have been more of a warning so it wouldn't be as stressful. Not only do the 5th grade students have hardly any time to adjust, but this is very stressful for their teachers and families as well. I personally was quite upset when the middle school changes were announced at our school. We go from expecting to be the leader of our classroom to becoming the youngest again. It also feels like we will be leaving our younger friends in our center too soon. This K-8 model has been a life-changing experience. It brings me together with so many different grades at once. It teaches leadership and how to mentor other kids. In our classrooms, there are 3 grades, and the oldest grade gets to help out the younger grades. At the beginning of the year, the younger students get buddies that help them learn the traditions of the classroom. This teaches leadership and how to be a role model. Also, when you are younger, it teaches you that you can find help and companionship in others. It helps you make friends because you are in a classroom with many diverse people. Throughout the year, our school has something called CIA. This is where kids from each grade get grouped together. You may not know anyone in the groups, but you make friends with them throughout the school year. Middle schoolers run the activities, and little kids learn from them and look up to them for how to be a leader. This is important to a lot of kids because it gives mentors to kids who need them and teaches leadership skills to older kids. Madrona makes leaders. This is why I am asking you to better fund our K-8 schools because these are very valuable learning environments for our community. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Brenna. Next up is Amina Duncombe.
Hi, my name is Amina Duncombe. I'm a 5th grade student from Madrona. I'm going to talk about how important music is for kids and why schools should keep band and orchestra classes. I began playing violin in 4th grade and now I play in the advanced orchestra. Playing violin makes me feel very peaceful and I love the sound of the violin. Violin is not just about playing a few strings with a bow. Being part of an orchestra has also taught me some important life skills, like being patient, paying attention, and learning to take turns. But most importantly, I get to meet new people outside of my classroom and find others with similar interests and hobbies. I also learn to work as a team and play with kids with different personalities and skills. Another reason why schools should keep their band and orchestra is because kids learning to play instruments in elementary schools help spread the love of music in middle schools and beyond. For example, what happens if Madrona loses band and orchestra in 4th and 5th grades? What will happen? Studies say that without 4th and 5th grade music, not many will be interested in playing instruments in the 6th grade. 4th graders like my brother who are in band and orchestra now will have to wait a whole year until they can play again. I'm worried that students in my brother's position might not be as good as they were playing instruments last year and lose interest in playing if they miss out on the 5th grade band next year. This will impact Madrona's culture. At Madrona, many kids have very strong feelings about music and love it very much. So if you take this away, the kids will be very disappointed. In conclusion, there are many benefits of kids learning to play music in elementary schools. And the school board should support kids who want to join band and orchestra by giving enough funds to schools. So please don't take away 4th and 5th grade music. Shout out to our band and orchestra teachers, Mr. Edward and Mr. Seeberger. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Amina. Next is Kristana Fati.
My name is Kristana Fati, and I'm a level 2 para-educator at Work Experience, and I reside in Linwood. And I first want to say it was a treat to see some of our former students today through Project Search. It reminds me why I'm here, actually. And I also want to show support to our DHH community as we do serve some of their students as well, and it's an important issue. This is my second time participating in the Edmonds School District Board meeting by public comment. My first was April 23rd alongside my team, students, and families advocating for our students with disabilities and for a pause on a decision to dissolve our pre-vocational program into 5 high schools by next school year. Thank you to the board and Dr. Miner for granting us our request and putting a pause. Since then, more students, families, and professionals throughout our school district have voiced their concerns about dissolving work experiences. On May 1st, the Work Experiences team met with Student Services and Dr. Miner. Concerns were addressed by our team and a proposal made to pilot an on-campus program starting at 1 high school for the 2024-2025 school year while maintaining our current space and current offerings at limited to no cost to the district and piloted with our current staff. The outcomes of that meeting was the direction from Dr. Miner that Sue Daniels, who has successfully ran this program for over 20 years, be given a seat again at the table of conversation moving forward, and that Student Services would reconvene with the committee that was created and present our proposal to them. Yesterday, May 13th, that committee met over a Zoom conference call. Unfortunately, it was felt the work experience proposal was not a focus of conversation or presented in a way of consideration by Student Services, and Sue Daniels was dismissed from the meeting before it was over. This is disappointing on so many levels. Our proposal is worth thoughtful consideration. All public educators should be striving for one unified goal, and that is to max the benefits of our educational systems for the students they serve. I am boldly asking for action again. I ask the district and the board to consider what these actions communicate to staff, students, and their families. Those who have voiced their thoughts and concerns, those who have dedicated countless hours now looking for a solution that is a win for everyone and maximizes the most benefits to our students. I would also like to ask the board to be more involved and ensure that this proposal is appropriately considered on behalf of our students, their families, our program, as well as the overall well-being of our district. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Shellen De La Cruz.
Hello, everyone. My name is Shaylin, and I work with the DHH program. I've been there for 5 years as paraeducator in Madrona as well as Edmond Woodway. Of course, I'm talking about the management position cut, admin cut. I used to live in New York City. I grew up there, and I went to the residential school. I had full linguistic access to sign language. Later, my family moved to this area and looked for a school that would be best for me. And the Washington School for the Deaf is very far in Vancouver, so my parents found Edmonds Woodway. There was a DHH program, and they decided, at that time, Alicia was the admin. And so I was welcomed warmly into that program. It's a big school, 1,500 students. Where I came from, it was like 200 students. So big difference. I went to Gallaudet University, the only deaf university in the world. I graduated and I returned as staff. I wanted to give back to the DHH community because there needs to be language models for these children to look up to. I'm grateful for my experience, for my coworkers, my team, and I enjoy seeing the students thrive and see that they can have access to their needs. So this was my first experience as a mainstream student, and it was beneficial. I was given what I needed. I registered for a class. I got to choose what I wanted to take. I was able to go on field trips. There was a budget at that time to attend any field trips I wanted to. I played sports. I could choose which interpreters I wanted. Now, the DHH students are very limited because of the budget cuts. There is a shortage of sign language interpreters, and they are not able to select any electives they want. So I've seen changes over the years. And it, to me, seems like the money is not being managed well. As mentioned before, the DHH students bring in $3 million to your budget. And to cut the program manager, I really would like you to reconsider the severe impacts on our children. How are they going to communicate and understand the cultural differences, the linguistic differences of our students? Selecting someone who doesn't know anything about us. Without the structure, our program will fail. The program will close. We need to value and look at our students, the DHH students' futures. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Angela Erb.
Hello, everybody. My name is Angela Erb. I am a para-educator in the Deaf and Hard of Hearing program. I have been for many years. I would just like to talk for a moment about the cut of the Deaf and Hard of Hearing program manager position. I came into this school district for the deaf and hard of hearing program. I am deaf myself. I have language. I was very fortunate to have language access at an early age. That is not true for everybody. A lot of our students who come to this program arrive language deprived, or they have just a tiny little access to language until they get to our program. Their parents never learn sign. That's normal for most kids that are deaf and hard of hearing are growing up in families that are hearing, and their parents never learn sign. They access language here. They get their language here. We have deaf and hard of hearing support here. We have interpreter support here. We are unique. We are uniquely different from any other program. We are a regional program. We have access to language and culture here. Please don't lose it.
Thank you. Next up is Anna Crawford.
I will speak in the language we share. My name is Anna Crawford. I have worked at this school district since about 2014. I was recruited by a different interpreter who saw me and said, you might be a good fit with the kids. And then she put me in with a first grader who was adorable and had beautiful language skills, and I fell in love. Because we have a place where students are not left alone. You have no idea how rare that is. You have no concept. I have gone and spoken with my peer interpreters who work in K-12 settings across the nation. And I mention how our program runs, and they say, you are so lucky. You have no idea. And I ask them for their stories, and my heart breaks. I didn't want to be up here today saying my heart is breaking. You have heard fiscal facts. Thank you, Corey Clark. You have heard the lived experience and the educational expertise. Thank you, Kayla Meese. You have had other people speaking from within their own community speaking to you. As someone who has been very blessed to work with these professionals, with these experts, I ask you to listen to them regardless of whether or not they spoke with their mouths. This program is unique. Please respect that. And I ask that you keep it a lighthouse in the dark. Students who do not see deaf adults do not grow up knowing that they themselves can be successful. I have heard that story again and again. And I don't hear it from the students working and coming to our school district. So please reconsider. And I know this year is hard. I do not ask this thinking it is easily done, but I ask it anyways, please. Please. I look forward to hearing your decisions.
Next up is Danielle Kohler.
Hi, I'm Danielle Kohler. I have 3 children, 2 of which are at Sherwood Elementary. Today I brought you a copy of the school survey, which I know what you said is you can have a link to that. Oh, I don't know. I'm pretty loud, so. It is.
I think it's on.
Okay, good, we're safe. And if you review the survey, I really believe that it leads participants.
Maybe if you hold it, you want to talk right into it, because
Okay.
so the people
All
at
right.
home can hear it.
All right.
Okay.
So if you review the school start time survey, I believe it leads participants to be in favor of starting high schools later without fully explaining the ramifications of elementary schools getting earlier start times. Now, I am all for everyone having a later start date. I want to be clear in that because the data definitely supports it. But the survey does not give any data on what would happen if an elementary school student had to start earlier. And I think there is some other details about this trade-off that we should consider. If we started in elementary school at 7:20 with a bus pickup as early as 6:30, this means there will be children as young as 5 walking to the bus and waiting for the bus alone in the dark. It also means that there would be children as young as 5 coming home alone and being at their home for 3 to 4 hours until a parent came home. Because we have an equity issue. Not all students can afford after-school care. And our district doesn't have the ability to accommodate all students in after-school care. So my request is pretty simple. If you guys could put out sort of what provisions you would put out to make sure there was safety and equity in elementary schools if we started them early, because I feel like we have an incomplete story.
Thank you. Next is Jason Moore.
Jason Moore, Linwood. I literally had to just change what I was talking about today. I mean, I don't know what's worse, the irony or the hypocrisy of this district and this board before me. Diversity, equity, inclusion. The district and the board tries to beat everybody over the head unconscious, like the students in the bathrooms, with this rhetoric. Diversity, DEI, when it's convenient for the district. Look at all these people here. All these people are not being treated fairly by this district. And that is what you folks call equity, which you don't practice. You only preach it. And not only preach it, you try to beat people down with it. Well, we're tired of it. That's why all these people are here. DEI, SEL, iReady. Why don't these programs get cut before sign language? People that can't hear. You're cutting programs like this and you claim to be DEI? The principal just gave a presentation over here about how horrible these survey results are year after year. Doesn't anybody in this district stop and think, maybe we're doing something wrong? Maybe what we're teaching is not working here. But instead of that, you want to cut music, orchestra. This is the 3rd meeting I've been here, and the community's crying out to you, literally, about cutting these programs. And what do? You don't even ask for any alternatives. How many alternatives did you ask for, Mr. Smith? Did you ask for alternatives, Mrs. Minor? No, your staff gave this board an ultimatum. Cut these programs or you don't support students. We're tired of this. This whole place is filled up because of your lack of leadership. If you don't want to lead this district, go somewhere else.
Next up is Steve Keeler.
Good evening. My name is Stephen Keeler. I'm a resident of Edmonds. I have no children in Edmonds School District schools, and I'm a taxpayer. In the previous meetings, I've listened to the agony of what you all are having to consider, and you do have my condolences. I recognize there's only so much money it can only be spent in certain ways. So why am I here tonight advocating for something when you don't have enough money evidently for it already? Well, I'll have to save that for the future, but I will get back to it. I've simply presented you with some homework tonight. I'd like you to listen to the School of Rock 2022 All-Stars. They perform on a YouTube video the song Free Your Mind, and that was originally recorded by the female group In Vogue. I'd like you all to listen to it and realize what is possible, what might be if the district had a School of Rock. It shouldn't cost a lot of money. You need a producer. The students are already taught to play instruments. They can read, they understand the lyrics, they get it. All you need is an empty room, and it sounds like you have quite a few of those, or will have. So, do your homework, listen to the School of Rock, and if the Edmonds School District, Superintendent Minor, if the Edmonds School District doesn't have a School of Rock, let's get one. Thank you.
Next up is Sean Griffin. Is Sean here? He left. Thank you very much. Next up is Aaron English.
Dr. Minor, members of the school board, thanks for taking the time to hear a passionate plea from a parent. My name's Aaron English. I live in the city of Edmonds. My two children are students at Madrona, and I'd like to advocate and support the continuance of the K-8 model, but then also in arguments and more compelling that I can have for the advocacy of music. But with that, I just would be remiss, because both of my children go to Madrona, that they are better students and they are better people for learning and playing with their DHH classmates. And part of that is having a strong foundational program. When we moved from Lake Washington School District from Kirkland, I knew about Madrona even before we were even thinking of moving to Edmonds. It had a reputation on the east side and among my neighbors, and it was compelling. And when we moved during the pandemic, there are numerous stories of the challenges of post-pandemic education. I can only speak for, my wife and I can only speak for ourselves, is that, and I didn't realize it until I started thinking about the criticality of it, losing it, that the K-8 model, at least the ones that we have at Madrona, took the access to education and made my kids better. There were gaps, there were challenges to that. And I would have to say that just in the short period of time that they have been students at Madrona, that has kind of closed a little bit of the learning gaps with them. Music has, and access to it, similarly, has essentially kind of been a flywheel to their access to education. I can, the students who, from Madrona, but then also throughout the district, and the parents that they feel like, the sooner you are in music, the better you are. And not to say that they're all gonna go to Juilliard. But it is critically important. And then the reverse is also true, that the longer you wait, the harder it is to get them into music. And then lastly, I just want to advocate, just on a personal level, the staff at Madrona. I cannot imagine the challenges, both mental and personal, of not knowing and sort of living with these sort of the challenges in the budget. And I can just say, and I think all the parents at Madrona and in the district kind of feel the same way, that it is critically important for them to sort of have that level of stability to the degree that they can. And that makes them better teachers. The more, I think every person here remembers their teacher and their parents having that same teacher. And I think that level of continuance and stability is sort of critical. for the access of education, and thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Next up is Michelle Noble.
I'm Michelle Noble. I live in Edmonds. I've got a 4th grader at Madrona K through 8 and a freshman at Edmonds Woodway. I remember very clearly when I got the phone call before my older daughter started kindergarten, letting us know that she was gotten in the lottery and she was going to be able to go to Madrona. I was so excited. What I didn't realize at that time was that she actually functions in a very neurodiverse, probably autistic, ADHD fashion. And what would happen is at the beginning of her first year in a class with a certain set of teachers, at the beginning they were charmed by her. She was enthusiastic, bright, and engaged. And then somewhere around the early part of the spring, we'd have a parent-teacher conference, and they'd talk about how she couldn't really stay focused, and going to get a pencil would take her, an extraordinary amount of time. But at Madrona, that wasn't the end of her relationship with that teacher. The next year, in 2nd grade and in 3rd grade, she'd be with those same teachers, and they would learn to know everything about her. Who she wasn't just this kind of scattered energy, this talkativeness when she was supposed to be listening. It's also a brilliance and a creativity. And the same thing was true when she went into 4th and 5th and 6th grade. She was so supported. She would tell you that her 7th grade year at Madrona was her hardest year socially. She went through a lot. Her peers were going through a lot. They were coming back from the pandemic. But still, she was part of this community where they supported her. They knew who she was. Now, as a freshman, she gets up every morning and catches that bus at 6:44 by herself. She's handling her homework, which is hard, but she's doing it. And I firmly believe that the reason she can do that is because she was able to develop in this community that truly supported her. Another brilliant thing that I feel like I need to mention because of everything we've heard at this meeting is that being part of the school with the DHH community right there, my kids don't see those kids as others. They see them as part of us. They've all had beautiful relationships with kids that are part of that group. At the end of the Shrek musical this spring that my 4th grader was in, they always sign the last song as well as singing it. And one of our friends that's one of the paras at the school said that she cried during that because it shows how Madrona is not just giving lip service to diversity. It really includes. It includes my daughter who doesn't learn the way other kids do. It includes my younger daughter who's also, in her own version of unicorn, and it includes the DHS kids. So please support this model. I know you work hard. I know it's hard to make this work, and it's different than all the other schools, but it's worth the hard work, and thank you for all that you're doing.
Next up is Bill Noble.
Hi, thank you all very much for your time. I'm kind of nervous. This is my first time I've ever been to a board meeting. I think people have spoken tonight about a lot of the great things about the school. I think they're getting through to you. I think you're hearing and paying attention. And I just want to ask for your continued commitment to the K through 8 model. Full funding for our kids, meaning no cuts that disproportionately impact our Madrona's middle school because of the delivery model, and support for the instrumental ensemble in 5th and 6th across the district and the DHH program. And I understand your jobs are challenging. I respect that. Also do come to us to help, to ask the state to help, because the thing that I've learned and seen in Madrona is the community. And working together to solve problems is what our kids are learning how to do. So we can learn from them, do the same thing. So thank you very much for your time.
Next up is Cassian Popescu. Did I say that correctly? Good.
My name is Cassian Popescu. I'm a resident of Linwood.
First of all, thank you for the opportunity to speak in front of this audience. I'm here, however, to ask the board, the district, to reconsider the decision that has been made a couple years ago to close one of the, and the only swimming pool in the Edmonds district, the Maplewood K-8 elementary school. I do believe this is actually a great facility, has been designed over 20 years, to be a facility to help the kids with special needs. It's a great tool for the teachers to teach the kids with special needs to learn new skills. I know it's always a challenge, whatever, to find the right budgets, but I do believe teachers, parents, students, we should have a voice. My biggest frustration was when I tried to ask different parents, teachers, nobody actually was even aware about the decision of the closure. So I would like, whatever, to have that reconsidered. And my suggestion is actually to make a survey among the parents to see actually what's actually the position. At the same time, I support what I heard here, the DHH and the music programs and initiatives. I believe the community deserves to have this type of programs. This is what feeds our souls. So, thank you so much.
Thank you. That concludes the public comments for tonight.